who almost hung to the inside of the running rail turning in. Attica and Are You Wise to That hold every chance. They're approaching the final furlong. Are You Wise to That has gone on from Attica. They're being followed by Jack Andrews' mount, Much Too Dear, who's gone third, but it's Are You Wise to That who's got a clear advantage entering the final 100 yards from Attica. Much Too Dear, Avalanche Peak in the final 50 yards. Are You Wise to That pushed out, wins the bumper readily. Attica ran second.
Two, as is Melo Blanc, 12-1 and bigger the rest. Nice and open, isn't it? Howling Mad Murdoch is the one that heads the betting. Howling Mad, you might be in the Amber Limb, but you don't want to lose your head. Nick, back to you.
Thanks, Tom. Final race, and the runners are making their way out. It's been a really good day. We've had the military amateur riders, and they rather lit it up earlier, I think. It's been a good day, and we'll finish with a race that's lost a little bit of gloss, with no hands off, with no get up mush, but we've still got some horses that might just be ahead of their marks. And Howling Mad Murdoch has been backed from earlier on and retains the status at the head of the market.
Can definitely see it. So 4 lengths winner at Plumpton. Ran pretty well under a penalty next time out. I think 118 is reasonable, and I think the rain that we've had is a plus, not a minus.
Yeah, I agree. And we didn't talk about Hermino.
Absolutely.
Hermino, who broke the maiden win last seen at Plumpton in January. That form has been enhanced with the second Goodwin Racing winning.
Yeah, there was a lot of the hurdles were missing that day because of the low sun. They were actually when Howling Mad Murdoch won at Plumpton as well. But anyway, they were.
No danger of that today.
No danger of that. But I thought that was it was never more impressive that day, Hermino AA, than in the last 100 yards. He was really, really strong at the finish. So I think the extra trip could be, or the stiff nature of the track and everything could suit him. And his previous third at Doncaster was pretty good form as well.
He's clearly been quite a regarded horse, and it would be bookending the card after Authorised Speed won the first if Jamie and Gary Moore could win the last with Hermino. We didn't also talk about, unless I got it wrong again, 11, Mayot Blanc, who's got Rasheen Leach, who actually, on each occasion that she's ridden this horse, has been in the frame. It's been, all in all, a pretty good few months for the horse.
And it could well be in the frame again. She's much more exposed than many of these horses, but is running really well. That run last time out was among his best. He's raised £2 for that. He'll go in the ground. He's pretty consistent. He's not flash. He's not obviously an improver, but he's a quite reliable horse.
It's difficult to say something's been backed or not, given the fact we've had horses that were trading well into the single figures who've been taken out, so the market's a little bit different now. Howling Mad Murdoch at 130, keep running. We'll go back to that horse who heads the market for Daryl Jacob and Harry Whittington.
Yeah, he's an interesting. I'm not just saying, because when this ran last time out, he tried to make the run in. When they turned home, he stays on the far side. The other horses came more this side, and in the end, he just sort of lost it. Now, whether he was running on a slightly less suitable ground, I'm not sure at the end, whether he was running on softer ground. But anyway, he ran really well. He either didn't quite get home, or he was running on the wrong part of the track. I'm not sure which. But until then, he jumped beautifully in front, and I was impressed for most of the race that day.
Would you be of the opinion that, or forgiving enough to think that it was that he was on the wrong part of the track? You'd like to see him today get home in these conditions?
I would. That's basically, I'm not sure is what I'm thinking. But it could have been. So it's one of two reasons, I think. And I think if it is that he was running on the wrong part of the track, then he's a big player today.
I thought Snowy Evening, whose name didn't quite come to me earlier, would have been an interesting rival to get up mush.
Yeah, £6 pull he had, I think.
£6 pull that is no longer needed. But I thought today could be an interesting run.
Yards going well. He's run solidly in all three hurdle races, particularly that last one, and they've given him, I think, a reasonable starting point of 110.
Yeah. And you mentioned the most appropriately named horse in the race, and of the day probably, is the Plimsoll line for David Pritchard and Jeremy Scott, who we haven't seen since making the handicap debut back in October. That run had come off a break as well, keeps this sort of distance. I guess it's just another opportunity to see the horse on a different day off a different break, 132 days this time.
Yeah, that's it. The horse who clearly can go well fresh.
Yeah, can.
it's a possibility that 2.5 miles on this ground might be as far as he wants. We'll see.
And yeah, just picking through one of these, or a couple of these that we did see in the parade ring. And Gwenny May Boy, who's popped up at a big price in the past, we know that. Gwenny May Boy, I wanted to mention, who was made favourite for that handicap debut at Bangor last time, back in February. Bangor's obviously a track that suits, but did get quite warm beforehand. It's a cool afternoon, hopefully won't be doing that. And now goes right-handed for the first time, so it's a little bit different. Goes back to a lovely family. Not so far back, and you've got Blackjack Ketchum. I'm not going to compare the horse whatsoever, but there's enough potential still there and a good pedigree. And
yeah, and the pedigree also suggests that this step up in trip might suit him. There's some stamina in that pedigree, so it's possible the extra half a mile will suit.
Blackjack Ketchum, who should still be winning Stayers hurdles. You remember he was going to be the force forevermore.
Yeah, I do remember.
One of the outstanding novice hurdlers, staying novice hurdlers that we'd seen at that time, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was a very good horse, and the horse that people had really high hope for.
And they did. And that horse in the pedigree of Gwenny May Boy. Any others you wanted to mention, or anything else you wanted to take into account? I'm sure the riders will have seen throughout the day just how testing it's going to be there on the soft hurdles course.
But I think, that's true. I think they'll go a reasonable pace. I think Keep Running and the Plimsoll line are pretty regular, prominent racers. Gwenny May Boy, possibly. Hermino Double A, possibly. But those two, I think we should ensure, particularly Keep Running. He seemed very happy making the running last time out.
And do you think we've got, because it's been a long time since the horse was backed in, do you think we've got the right favourite, just on the outset?
Probably. I think I like his chance. I think it's a wide open race, to be honest. But I do think he's got a good chance. I think the soft ground, the rain that we've had, I think has increased his chances.
Yes. That is Howling Mad Murdoch for Stan Shepherd and for Tom Lacey in the Value Racing Club Silks. Howling Mad Murdoch, who makes the handicap debut today, off the mark of 118, and runner-up to Supreme Gift at Catterick. Supreme Gifts is having a good season. There obviously is a lot of potential. Keeps to this trip. And there you are. It's going to be ridden a little bit further back towards the rear of those, but not as far back, seemingly, as Snowy Evening. Oliver Greenall and Josh Guerriero ticked over 50 winners for the season just the other day.
Yeah, but a really, really good year.
Haven't they?
Yeah, and this
Herbier won the other day, didn't it? Did you agree that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They've had a really good year, and this is an interesting runner in its own right. This is a horse who could improve now handicapping.
Yep, they're led by the Lost in Translation colours here, Birdman Bob, those of Taylor and O'Dwyer, who it's a big old price, hasn't happened yet, well-bred horse, closely related actually to Monolly, but we'll have to go somewhere based on what we've seen to get anywhere near that level, I'd say. Birdman Bob, who's 66 to 1. Howling Mad Murdoch, 130. Keep Running, 9 to 2. Same price as Hermino. Snowy Evening, 6 to 1. The Plimsoll line, 15 to 2. 8 to 1 about Mayotte Blanc. And Always Busy's now 12 to 1. Shot not a huge amount of movement, really. Market just reshaping after taking out a couple of the key contenders.
Yeah, you've got a nice mix here of exposed horses with chances like Mayotte Blanc and possible improvers like Hermino Double A and Howling Mad Murdoch, who are much more less exposed.
Were we going to offer our nap of the Cheltenham Festival after the last race to keep people entertained? There's no evening racing to carry on for.
I did last night for.
Did you?
On
I missed it.
So, yeah,
right. Well, maybe we'll reiterate what it was. Thank you very much indeed. Great day up in the commentary position, Mark Johnson.
Thanks very much indeed, Nick. Not sure whether you mentioned Hermino. The reason he has AA after his name is he's an Anglo-Arab. His mum was an AKPS, and her dam was also an Anglo-Arab, so he has Anglo-Arab percentage in his blood, and if it's a certain percentage, then the French give a suffix of AA, so that's why he's Hermino, but he looks on the card to be Hermino AA. They're walking forward now. Starting 2/3 the way down the back straight. The all clear is given, and they're off. This is the Amberlin Novices Handicap Hurdle. It's over 2.5 miles. One flight to take in the back straight before they make the turn back towards home at the end of the first quarter of a mile or so. The early leader is the Plimsoll line, with on the inside Keep Running. Those are the first two early. Out wide is Birdman Bob, then Hermino, with on the inside Howling Mad Murdoch as they cross over the first flight. They're all safely over with Snowy Evening held up at the back of the field. Wide is Mayotte Blanc. Another one who's towards the rear, together with a Regard, as now they make the turn, and Keep Running has now taken the lead. Keep Running goes on by half a length to the Plimsoll line towards his outside, racing in second. Hermino is just in third. Then to the inside rail, Howling Mad Murdoch in fourth position. Out a little bit wider is Always Busy, and wider still is Birdman Bob. Then towards the inner, the white colours of Snowy Evening, who races at the moment in the last four, racing alongside Regard, with out wide Mayo Blanc, and also towards the rear is Gwenny May Boy. Inside the final 2 miles they go. Daryl Jacob and Keep Running have got the lead over Hermino, who's come through now to shade second in the hands of Jamie Moore, with on the inside Howling Mad Murdoch, ridden by Stamp Shepherd. Out wide the Plimsoll line and David Pritchard as they go over that second flight taken in the race. 9 of them to cross in all. Regard is now the back marker. A little awkward towards the outside over that flight was Mayo Blanc, and they're going now on towards flight number 3, and Keep Running has the lead. Keep Running out in front, jumps it well, led by about a length and a half to Hermino, who is over in second. The Plimsoll line is in third against the rail. Howling Mad Murdoch is racing in fourth position. Always Busy, the check colours, is in fifth, followed in sixth by Gwenny May Boy. Then wide is Birdman Bob, working to the inside. Snowy Evening, who's got 2 behind him. Regard is one of them, and also Mayo Blanc at the back of the field. But they're very tightly grouped as they race to the top of the hill. Keep Running leads by just over a length to his pursuers. The Plimsoll line on the outside of Hermino, with against the inside rail as they take the turn, Howling Mad Murdoch, and now they can freewheel down towards the back straight. Keep Running, bidding for a second win of the campaign, having scored already at Bangor, leads by a length and a half to Hermino, last time out winner at Plumpton. Then on the inside, Howling Mad Murdoch and the Plimsoll line. A break then of a couple of lengths have opened up to Birdman Bob, who races towards the outside. On the inside rail is Always Busy, and between those two, Gwenny May Boy. Out wide, but improving, Mayo Blanc has passed 1 or 2, relegating Snowy Evening now to be last but 1, and it is Regard, who is just the back marker, as they face up now towards flight number 4, and Keep Running still has the lead. Keep Running by a length and a half to Hermino, who will jump in second position. The leader rather guessed at that and landed hind legs first, but it didn't check his momentum. He still leads by a length and a half to Hermino in second and Howling Mad Murdoch in third, and they're at the next flight. And once again, the leader did not jump that at all well, but Keep Running is still the leader to Hermino in second. Howling Mad Murdoch is in third. Improving now into fourth is Gwenny May Boy. The purple with the yellow chevron has made a bit of ground going down the back straight. Out wide, Mayo Blanc, another one who is beginning to improve. Still Regard is the back marker, and still towards the rear of the field, Snowy Evening. But they are still very, very tightly grouped indeed as they head now towards the final flight taken down the back straight. There'll be 5 of them, covered by only about half a length as they cross over this flight. Keep Running on the inside, just had the advantage over Hermino, who took it in second. Gwenny May Boy was over in third. The Plimsoll line was not fluent and loses a bit of ground. So too Mayo Blanc around the outside, and now they begin to make the run inside the final half mile. Keep Running and Hermino the first 2. Gwenny May Boy is racing in third. To the inside rail, Howling Mad Murdoch with every chance and going well. The Plimsoll line and around the outside, Mayo Blanc. They're then being followed on the inside by Regard, who's passed 1 or 2. Then Snowy Evening. Now last but 1 is Always Busy, who is struggling, and so too is Birdman Bob, and they're making the turn in. Inside the final 3 furlongs, 2 more flights of hurdles to take, and Keep Running is doing just that. Still has the lead over on the far side to Hermino in second. Gwenny May Boy driven but trying to improve, and then Howling Mad Murdoch, who's really travelled well into the race and is now about to take second as Hermino goes on as they take the second from home. Hermino out in front by just over a length to Howling Mad Murdoch in second position. Gwenny May Boy is in third. Keep Running is in fourth. The only other 2 left going now are Regard and then Mayo Blanc. Everything else has pulled up before 2 out. Here's the final flight. Hermino on the near side made a mistake. Better jump on the far side by Howling Mad Murdoch. And it's Howling Mad Murdoch who now takes the lead. He goes on by 3 parts to the length. Hermino, however, tries to rally on the run up towards the line, but it is Howling Mad Murdoch in front. Howling Mad Murdoch beat Hermino into second. There's a very long wait for the third. Eventually it will be Gwenny May Boy. Eventually only 6 will get home.
Yeah, a huge gap back to the third as these two, well, total unknowns in handicap company have pulled clear. Howling Mad Murdoch, who just travelled so well backed earlier in the day, 130, and Favourite has in the end beaten another of the handicap debutants, Hermino, both of which with plenty of potential, and that's probably what's told here.
Yeah, and it might have been closer, but for a mistake at the last by the runner-up. Yep. I think Howling Mad Murdoch was probably going to win anyway, but it changed a tight finish into a length and a quarter win or a length win. It's the only mistake I saw Hermino made with that, but they have drawn right away. 2 horses with potential, both making their handicap debuts, and they've both shown their marks were underestimating them.
Still a little bit more than winners. I think both of them, by the very nature of how inexperienced they are, have had so much racing. You mentioned Jamie Moore's body language. He looked ultra confident of completing that first and last race double after authorised speed earlier. Sat there very confidently.
He did, and he got a good jump 2 out, and then the winner moved up, also coming again, was given a confident ride by Stan Shepherd, round the inside, travelling extremely well. From turning for home, you knew these two had the race between them. And so you watch it again and see if you think the mistake at the last has made a decisive difference or whether it just made a difference in the winning distance.
Instinctively,